After a historic turnout in the 2020 election, Georgia legislators made changes in how we can vote in Georgia. We at United for Change want to make sure that all people with intellectual or developmental disabilities understand that it is your right to vote, and we want you to understand that voting has changed. Laws were changed on how elections take place. New laws impact us as individual voters. Advocates and voting rights champions have been working hard and pushing back to make sure all voters still vote, just like you.
There are now groups who are suing the state of Georgia, saying those laws are discriminating against people with disabilities, people of color, and people have low income. We want to make sure all self-advocates around Georgia know what those changes are, so your vote counts. We have an election this year for some office like mayor, city council members, or for local rules depending on where you live. We are not electing any statewide or U.S. position in 2021. That will be happening next year in 2022.
There are 3 ways you can vote this year: by asking for and turning in absentee ballots by election day, in person doing early voting October 12th through the 29th at any polling place in your county, in person at your assigned voting place on election day, November the 2nd, 2021. We are going to talk about the changes to in-person voting in this video. We have a separate video on absentee voting. One thing that changed is volunteers can no longer come by and pass out anything like water, snacks, umbrellas, or fans to the people standing in line to vote. The only thing allowed with the new law is that a water cooler can be available nearby for people to drink of water. The number of days you are allowed to vote early has changed in the law. This year you can vote early at any polling place in your county between October 12th to the 29th. Check with your county for information on early voting locations.
You can also vote in person on election day, November 2nd, at your assigned precinct. On election day, polls are open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. You must take your ID to vote in person. This has to be either a Georgia driver's license or state ID, a U.S. military ID, State of Georgia, employer issued ID, Georgia voter ID, U.S. passport, or tribal ID.
To vote on election day, make sure you know where your polling place is so you can go there. Another thing that changed in the new law is that if you show up at the wrong polling place on election day, you have to leave and go to your correct polling to pass the vote. Please make sure you know where your polling place is on November 2nd before you leave to vote.
You also want to know what will be on the ballot before you go to vote every time. We encourage you to learn about the candidate running for office and any proposed amendments that will be on the ballot. Please look at this and do your research so you're sure to vote for candidates who believe in what you believe and want to see in our community, in Georgia, and in our country. As a voter with a disability, you can ask for accommodation while voting in person.
The Americans with Disabilities Act requires all polling places to be fully accessible and have a poll workers who are trained and respond to the needs of voters with disabilities when they ask for help. Get accommodation, you may need to ask for assistance from workers at a polling place to use voting equipment. Bring someone with you to help you vote, like a family member, friend, or other supporters. Ask to use a touchscreen voting machine from your wheelchair or a chair. Use an audio ballot with headphones and a number of keypads. Tell a poll worker you want to move forward front of the line if you are voting on election day between 9:30 a.m. and 4:30 p.m. People with disabilities do not have to wait that long voting lines on election day.
We all have a voice and need to speak up. Make sure you know what you need to go vote and have your voice heard.
You can watch our other videos for more information about voting accessibility and about the changes made to absentee voting this year. This video was made by United for Change with support from Sangha Unity Network, the Georgia Advocacy Office, and Georgia.